No, I'll show you what happened when my microphone went out.
Thanks, Nancy. That's right. Prince Michael joins us again, and tonight we will see if my interview pointers paid off. It's your turn now to interview the guys of Oz the Great and Powerful.
Brooke, your advice really helped me feel calm, cool, and confident.
Well, thanks for that, but I'm confident that you're probably always that way. And now everybody's going to see that Prince Michael is a natural. His big moment, just minutes away, Prince Michael takes his seat for the interview, gets a little touch-up, and some last-minute encouragement from me before I bring in the guys. And then it was time to meet director Sam Raimi and stars James Franco and Zach Braff.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you,
Love
sir.
your movies.
How are you, James?
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. I've seen a lot of your movies.
Zach.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
I thought you were great in this movie.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.
So I think we want Sam, James, and Zach.
All right.
I'll be right over here if you need anything, okay?
Sounds good.
Are we your first interview?
Actually, yes, you are.
Oh, congratulations.
So,
That's so cool.
It's a new experience from being
great,
interviewed
man.
to being the interviewer.
We'll be the best interview subjects ever.
All right, Prince Michael, it's all you.
Alrighty.
Though Prince Michael turned 16 just 1 week ago today, he showed great poise, facing a director and 2 movie stars he admired, even with 4 cameras trained on him and an army of onlookers.
Sam, I really enjoyed the way you portrayed the world of Oz. I thought it was very beautiful.
Thank you for the lovely compliments.
He hardly even directed it.
Some days he just was on speakerphone and would just call in.
Well, these guys wouldn't listen to me anyway, so why should I bother coming in?
I might not actually be a wizard.
And for you, James, I have a question. Your portrayal of Oz was very great. You went from a con man to a character with so much passion and love, especially for the people of Oz. What was that like for you?
I saw that his particular transformation would allow for comedy. Because he's a con man, that would get him into a lot of awkward situations that could be played for comedy.
You can have a nice pile of bananas, all right?
Bananas. Oh, I see. Because I'm a monkey, I must love bananas, right? That is a vicious stereotype.
In the film, out March 8th, Zach is the voice of Finley the monkey. He had to crouch to play the part during filming and was replaced by computer imagery.
Well, you are one of the greatest monkeys I've ever known.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know, it's funny. When we made this movie, James had just come off of Planet of the Apes, where he had worked with other computer-generated monkeys.
They are making a sequel to Planet of the Apes. So
Maybe there's room for me.
The movie pros were very encouraging.
You're doing awesome. You're a natural.
Right here, problems with Prince Michael's microphone were obvious. The sound technician came to his aid, and the ease with which he handled the situation impressed the guys even more.
Well, you're a natural at it, man. Good job.
Yeah, you really handled that little mic glitch-like approach, just like you handled everything else. Nothing really rattles you, does it?
I grew up in this business, so I know how to keep my cool.
You know how to handle everything. You were focused, you were unflappable, and tomorrow we're going to have what happened after you got your audio back.
All right. I just turned 16. Do you have any advice for someone who's looking to get into the business? Find out what James Franco told me when the director revealed he wasn't the first choice for the wizard.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you.
You're a natural.
This is your first interview, Prince?
Yes, it is.
Well, you're a natural at it, man. Good job.
So good, in fact, that Prince Michael pried some real news out of director Sam Raimi that James Franco was actually the 3rd choice to star as the wizard.
We have one rule in show business. Never work with kids or animals. I'm already working with this thing.
When you got the script of Oz, did you envision James as playing Oz the Great and Powerful?
When I first read this script, I heard that Robert Downey Jr. was attached to star in it. That's why I didn't probably think of James originally. I met with Robert a few times. It turned out not to be right for him. And then briefly, Johnny Depp considered the project. It turned out not to be right for him either. And then I heard that James had read it and liked it. And I hadn't even thought of James. I knew him very well. He was a friend of mine. Because,
Fine! You wanna come? Come!
Of course, you'll see James on screen starting March 8th. Sam had already directed James in 3 Spider-Man films and jokes that he learned that James and the Wizard had a bit in common.
it's a story of a selfish man who becomes a selfless man. However, as I began to think about James's experiences with me, I also remember when he was a selfish young actor. You want to defend yourself? Go ahead.
Well, let me just also say that as well as Sam knows me, I know him. I've known him for over 11 years. He's a bit of a womanizer and a big phony in the beginning.
Wow.
And,
I think we've delved deeply into the topic. Enough for your show right now?
At that point, Prince Michael was told he had time for one last question, and I reminded him of something he wanted to ask.
I just turned 16. I'm looking to get acquainted with the business, become a professional myself. Do you have any advice?
I'll give you some advice.
Uh-oh.
So, this is what I like to tell people. Look at Sam Raimi, and he directs some of the biggest movies, you know, today. He started off making his own little movies on an 8mm camera.
Like Spielberg.
Like a lot of directors that you admire now that are making the biggest movies. Doesn't have to be good. Look at the early movies Sam made.
Yeah, actually, look at...
Okay, so after the interview, when the camera stopped rolling, what happened? How did you feel?
Honestly, Brooke, I felt relieved.
You felt a little bit relieved. Well, what's next? Are you planning to go to film school?
I'd love to go to USC after I finish high school.
It's one of the best film schools out there. It's where George Lucas studied. And tomorrow, Prince Michael, I want the audience to get to know you a little bit better and find out what you thought of this entire experience.
And I have a lot to say.
Yes, you do.
Well, reveal what you didn't see during my first ET assignment.
Prince Michael, you've been here all week now.
It's been quite an education, Brooke, and what I've learned is I have a lot more to learn, but I am eager and focused and ready.
Well, I can tell that, and I always think it's best to talk about an interview right after it happens because then it's freshest on your mind, and ET cameras were rolling as we talked about how you felt just after the interview.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Excellent job.
I can't believe that's your first interview. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you guys.
Really cool meeting you, man.
We must thank the men of Oz the Great and Powerful for being so welcoming and making 16-year-old Prince Michael feel so comfortable in his first ET interview.
There's never this many cameras when it's just us, Prince. What's going on?
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Was it fun? What was your favorite moment?
I liked how all the men of Oz, they all just interacted with each other. It was very funny to see how they all got along.
And you created that atmosphere.
I guess I did.
You did. Were you scared?
I mean, not really. I've been kind of raised around stuff like this, so... I mean, it was different being the interviewer instead of being the one being interviewed. But, I mean, it was still pretty fun.
Okay, so you've got the guys of Oz under your belt. Who's next? Who do you admire?
Probably Peter Jackson, because I love his movies, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, King Kong. I used to study his movies with my dad, put the volume off, and just watch it, just the shots to see how we put it together.
Wow, so do you think with your dad all those years, it kind of inspired you to want to be...
Yeah, he always told us to push for it.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how cool was it for you?
Maybe an 8.9 or 9.
Oh, come on. Well, the life you've lived, I can understand why it wouldn't be quite a 10 just yet. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you. Great job.
It was nice to see you.
Oh, nice to see you too. Great job.
All right.
Okay, good job.
One last question. Would you ever consider coming back and doing it again?
I'll be ready if you call me.
All right, you're the best. Thanks. And we will be calling.
All right.
No, I think